now, because we're going to make these sessions available to people around the world who couldn't make this time zone, or just couldn't make this time generally. So I think that's recording. Yes, that is recording now. So if you have any reactions, you can use the reactions button in the console at the bottom. If you have any questions, do feel free to ask any questions. But the format of the training is effectively going to be, I will share my screen. And what I need you to do is to follow along with the second window open. So what that means is, I'll share my screen now just so I can show you what the hell I'm talking about. Hopefully you will have Zoom open, and you'll be able to see across the top, you'll be able to see your console for Zoom, which is around by being sharing and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want you to worry about having to touch that for any reason. But what you will need is Google Chrome open as your internet browser, like you would go on Facebook. So if you can all open up Google Chrome.
Groupings by rows and columns to create a matrix, or you can report on blocks of data, which is a joined format report. The format is the way in which your reports.
Thanks, Abhinav. I just muted you. And thank you. But okay, so what I need you to do is you're going to need to open up a browser window, and you'll need to have your email open in one tab, and you'll need to have a spare tab open. If you just go to, the first thing that we need to do is set ourselves up with a Trailhead account. Now, Trailhead is a learning platform, and it's designed to teach people Salesforce.com. Now, what Salesforce.com is, before I get you to sign up for Trailhead, is I will explain a little bit more about what it is and why it's so cool to learn right now, and how it's going to help you in the future. Back in the day, when businesses wanted to build relationships with other companies, so whether they wanted to sell a product or a service to a company, or whether they wanted to partner up with another company to provide services and products together, typically what would happen is you would hire, say, 10 or 15 salespeople to begin with, and it would be their job to go off and sell. Or you would have a customer service department, and it'd be their job to answer the phone and to answer any queries that people have about your product or service. The problem is, back in the day, I'm going to say back in the day, probably about 20 years, 25 years, typically what would happen was all of the notes that people would make would go into notebooks, or they might go into Excel spreadsheets, they might go into Microsoft Word, and all stored locally on people's computers. And that's a great, it's great for you if you're out selling and you need to remind yourself of certain things. But then when it comes to actually, let's say one of your salespeople leaves, or one of your customer service people leaves, and they take the notebook with them. Whoever inherits that customer, look after that customer, doesn't know what's actually going on with them anymore, because they don't have the notebook to hand. Make sense? So what Salesforce does, and what Salesforce began with, was a single website where people could kind of rent their own section of the website and configure it in their own way. So I'm going to start off with a very quick video that will explain a little bit more about what Salesforce is. So hopefully you can all see this.
Business is changing fast. In this digital age, everyone and everything is connected, transforming the way we interact with our customers. Salesforce makes easy-to-use, cloud-based business applications that help you stay connected to your customers, prospects, partners, and more. It's the world's #1 CRM platform, enabling businesses to sell, service, and market like never before. And it's the customer success platform, helping you to connect to your customers in a whole new way. With Sales Cloud, you'll always have the information you need to close deals. collaborate and sell as a team, manage contacts and track opportunities, from first contact to final handshake. Service Cloud allows you to deliver a world-class customer service experience. Track customer activity across every channel, from online to on the line. Increase agent productivity and resolve issues fast to keep customers truly satisfied. With Marketing Cloud, you can create personalized one-to-one customer journeys and powerful multi-channel marketing campaigns that generate leads and drive sales. And with Community Cloud, you can build vibrant, engaging communities that help customers, partners, and employees help themselves and each other. Make quicker, smarter decisions with Analytics Cloud. Turn big data into a big advantage by uncovering new insights and taking action instantly from any device. With App Cloud, you can build modern employee and customer-facing apps that engage and excite, all within a secure, trusted, and instantly mobile environment. And now with IoT Cloud, you can connect all your data from the Internet of Things to the rest of Salesforce for better insights and real-time customer actions. And because Salesforce is cloud-based, all your information is up to date, in real time, and available wherever you are. So you can even run your entire business from your phone. This is the world's leading enterprise cloud ecosystem. This is the customer success platform. This is Salesforce.
Okay, that's a really old one, I'll be honest with you, but it sounds like a lot. It sounds like you get hit with, oh, it does phone, it does marketing, it does sales.
If you're serious about your business, you need to build systems, and you have to find a great tool like
Shh. And so it can feel like, when you watch a video like that, it can feel a little bit overwhelming from time to time. That it's sales, it's service, it's marketing, it's Internet of Things, it's analytics. It's all the things that you think, oh my God, that's something that people in offices do, and you know, how on earth would I even begin to learn any of this? And the fact is, anybody can learn this stuff, right? The thing about Salesforce is that they actually have invested a lot of time, not only in building applications that you can access from your phone, and I'm actually one of those people that does run their business off their phone. I'm very fortunate to be able to say that. But the other side of it as well is what Salesforce prides itself, and that is on changing the world. I'm going to show you another short video before I then sort of get into things. And I want to talk to you a little bit more about what the Salesforce culture is all about and why it's such a great thing to get involved in. It's more than just an IT platform. So I'll just show you this quickly. No, I want to watch it now, not later.
As we enter this fourth industrial revolution, we have to make a commitment. We have to make a commitment to ourselves. Because if we can't be the examples, if we can't create that nirvana, then what have we done besides just sell more software and hardware and iPhones and all this other stuff?
We have an obligation, and I think we have an opportunity to do something very, very special that has never been done before.
The company has a soul, and it really is the drumbeat. It propels us forward.
You know, when we started Salesforce.com in 1999, it was a boom time.
Salesforce has transformed the way businesses do business.
It was a new technology model. It was a new business model. It was a new philanthropic model.
I'm running a company based on stakeholders, not shareholders.
Connecting people together to make the world better. It's pretty cool. Because of our culture, customer success is really important.
What is extraordinary is how you become the company that defines modern future enterprise computing. Because you got it right.
It's not ERM, but it is CRM. It's many things, but it's one thing.
We're talking about Salesforce.
Killing it all across the board.
We're talking about a company that's got one of the greatest corporate souls.
Salesforce just made what we do better.
They're good people, and they're easy to work with.
All about Ohana.
Ohana means family.
It's a culture of transparency.
It's our well-being.
Innovative. Equality.
Trust.
We want to make the world a better place. That's what we all feel in our Ohana. Salesforce is passion. It's the future. It's the present. It's an opportunity for you to really harness all of your resources to maximize what you're here for.
No matter what country you come from, you could change the world.
Salesforce is making major changes to close the gender pay gap.
We stand for equal opportunity, equal pay, and equal rights.
Everyone feels like they have a voice, like they're part of something, they understand where we're going.
When we started the company, we said we want to be a new kind of business. We're going to make it exactly a core part of our DNA from the very beginning.
Customers are stakeholders, our community, our homeless, the environment, stakeholders. This is the right thing to do.
Using business for social good is unlike any company I've ever seen. You can make this part of the culture now.
I wake up every day and say, it's great to be part of Salesforce.
I can't think of anywhere else I'd want to be. People love the idea that a company is going to bat for them. Speak up. They want to hear what you have to say. This has been our Ohana culture for the last 18 years. It's what sets us apart.
Together, we can do something pretty special.
It's just the beginning.
Okay, everyone had enough Kool-Aid? Amazing. So actually, every time I've seen that video about 3 or 4 times now, and every time I watch it, there are more people that I recognize in the video. And that is a huge, huge part of why I made the choice in 2008 to start working with Salesforce, because for me, it has given me an incredible career, an incredible family of people to interact with day in, day out, who are all trying to just do stuff right. Okay. And this family and this acceptance that we all have is very much centered around a shared set of values. Those values are around giving back as much as you take. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here today, is to try and help you in a really tough time right now around the world, where everybody's having to stay in be it a hotel room or your own house or flat or whatever, and it's really tough. Some of you I know have lost your jobs, and I feel like we have a responsibility collectively as a world to try and lift each other up and help each other. And that, in a nutshell, is why I'm here today, and that is why I'm so glad and so grateful that you've all joined. So having explained roughly what Salesforce is and how it helps people, does anybody have any questions before we go on to the next bit?
No, I'm just saying no, so you know I'm still here.
Thanks, Anne.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
No, we're good. I'm good too.
We're good.
Okay. Have we lost anybody? No.
No.
We're good. We're good. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Okay. So as they mentioned on that video earlier, and I'm just going to get my little whiteboard up because I find it easier to explain things in pictures. One of my jobs, my main job is as a Salesforce architect. So my job is to take people's requirements and design solutions using Salesforce and other systems and design how they're going to speak to each other, design how they're going to work, what kind of experience a user is going to have. And in order to do that, I have to draw an awful lot of pictures. So I get very used to just drawing pictures as I go. So I'll keep that open in case I feel I need to draw anything. Now, in order for us to progress, I feel like I have to explain what the Salesforce ecosystem is, okay? So you might hear me talking about the community, the ecosystem, and I want to just take a moment right now to explain what that means and what the different parts of the ecosystem are. So we have Salesforce. Salesforce is a software company. Salesforce have been going since 1999. The gentleman that you saw speaking earlier is one of the co-founders. His name is Mark Benioff, and he is the CEO of Salesforce. He is very, very passionate about changing the way that companies do business and using and enabling those businesses to change the world and make it a better place. And he's very much a thought leader on that kind of thing. He's very passionate about the environment. He's passionate about helping people, philanthropy, and enabling a new workforce. And one of the things that he's trying to do right now is to create 4 million jobs in the Salesforce ecosystem between now and 2023, I think. Because there are so many companies buying Salesforce's sales and service cloud offerings around the world, that actually there's not enough people out there who are experts to help them do it. So there's actually there's a lot of us who have been working with Salesforce for a number of years that actually volunteer our time to help skill up that workforce. And Salesforce has invested very heavily in its Trailhead platform. So Salesforce itself is the business. Salesforce has various different products within its platform. Okay, so it started off as a CRM system, which means customer relationship management. It started off with a focus on sales, so being able to track a company and all of the contacts who work at that company and all of the emails and tasks and calendar appointments that you might have with somebody working at a company, or just somebody if they're a consumer. Then the next thing you can do with Salesforce is to work with opportunities. And opportunities is a way of tracking a potential sales deal. It's a way for businesses to really forecast how much they're going to sell in a given time period. Now, if we talk about accounts, contacts, opportunities, and products are things you can add to an opportunity to set up the pricing level. We call that Sales Cloud. Okay, Sales Cloud is just one of Salesforce's products. And it's actually a marketing term for a collection of different functionalities. The other thing that Salesforce does is it has a fully connected solution for contact centers and for customer service departments, and that is known as Service Cloud. Service Cloud is the opportunity to track a query. So if you phone up your car insurer, let's take that as a typical journey. You want to buy car insurance, you're going to phone up a car insurance company and you're going to ask them for a quote. For you, that is a quote and an opportunity to buy the car insurance because you need it, but you need to compare prices across different insurers. But to that insurance company, you are an opportunity. You are a lead. You are somebody that has come through the door and said, I'm interested in how much it costs for me to buy from you. So that salesperson's job is to help you buy in as effective a way as possible. At the point where you have already bought, let's say that you change your car and you just want to transfer your car insurance over to the new vehicle. You have to phone them or contact them in some way and ask them to update the contract, right? So that's where Service Cloud comes in, because Service Cloud would create a case which would reflect the fact that you had this inquiry, and it would enable them to track all the steps of that inquiry right the way through to the point where it's resolved. And it could be open and shut, or it could take several weeks. The whole point of Service Cloud is to enable you to track how long it takes and to keep an eye on things. And if you need to call somebody back and update them on anything, you can set yourself a task, you can set yourself a call, and just manage your workload if you work in a contact center. The other thing they mentioned on there is Community Cloud. And Community Cloud is like a customer portal. It's the ability to give customers somewhere to log in where they can manage their own account. If any of you have got Netflix, for example, Netflix will have a section that's called that enables you to deal with your account details directly without you having to phone up a customer service agent to do so. So in that experience, you're logging into a community. And then businesses can't really succeed unless they're actually tracking. They're tracking all their metrics in real time, and that's something else that Salesforce offers. Is anything that you put into Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Community Cloud is creating vast amounts of data that sit within Salesforce. Now think about Salesforce as being a big database in the sky. That's how I used to call it when I was learning it. And as you're adding cases, as you're adding opportunities, as you're adding new leads that you will want to convert, you are then able to run reports based on the data as it is in that system right now. And if any of you have ever worked in an office before, you may have heard people say, well, you know, we need, if somebody says, for example, when I worked at OCR, sorry, I'll start again. When I worked at an exam board, I used to work in statistics, and every single day I used to have to run queries in a database and pull out the number of registrations. So these were people who signed up to do exams in their schools and colleges. And I had to run those reports once a day, because in order for the information to be up to date, I had to wait for certain system jobs to work in the background that would go and collect data from all the other different systems and put them into one, so I could then run reports off those systems. That's different in Salesforce, because in Salesforce, you don't have to wait for all the jobs to be run to update from all the other different systems. As people are using Salesforce and entering information, your report picks up that information immediately, straight away, based on the fact that it meets the data that's in there meets the criteria of your report. So that's kind of designed to be an overview. For the purposes of this course, we're just going to focus on Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, and then as a stretch, I expect we'll probably lose some of you along the way, and that's perfectly fine. If it's not for you, I won't take it personally. But those of you who do want to stay, we can run a vote, and if you want to do a bit of stuff on Community Cloud, then I can get some guest speakers in to come and help with that, or we can just build our own community portal straight away. It takes a couple of hours at the most. But I think that that's going to be enough to fill your heads for the next couple of months. Now, I talked about Salesforce's three main products that we'll be looking at. In terms of the rest of the ecosystem, Salesforce is what we nickname the mothership, because that's where everything happens. And they design the software and they release the software, and they're a huge company now. They're about 150,000 or something, they're massive. Their headquarters is in San Francisco. They have various large offices around the world. So there's an office in London, which is called Salesforce Tower. There is an office in Indianapolis. There are offices in Paris and Amsterdam and all around the world, which Salesforce runs all its operations from. So within Salesforce, you have obviously their sales organization. You also have Team Trailhead. Trailhead is their department for learning, education, certification, and enablement. And they're the ones that I tend to deal with the most often, although since I started my own business, I'm dealing more with the sales side of things as well. Now, alongside Salesforce, you have the partner ecosystem. Let me see if there's a better diagram here. Okay, I'll use the Salesforce economy, potentially. No, that's rubbish. Okay, so you then have the partner ecosystem, and the partner ecosystem consists of two main types of partner. One part, these are all companies that have sprung up and decided that when Salesforce sells to customers, they are going to help those customers to get set up correctly. So I'm going to add on here. Please forgive me, I'm a little bit unstructured sometimes, but I'll get into the swing of it because I've been living and breathing this 12 years, so I sometimes forget. So obviously Salesforce has their customers, they buy a subscription and they customize their own area of Salesforce really easily. Mm-hmm. Now sometimes they can't do that on their own, or they're worried about doing it on their own, or they have started to do it on their own and they've screwed it up somewhere along the way. And that's where the partners come in. Salesforce sells licenses to customers, but partners can sell services to customers as well. And part of those services might be a bit of training. It might be setting up and configuring Salesforce for them once they've understood how that business works. Or it could be just giving them advice and helping them skill up their own teams. So, so that's what typically the consulting partners might do. And companies that have typically got involved with that include IBM, Deloitte, And then there are other companies that have just sprung up out of nowhere because they want to be Salesforce partners and have established their own service as well, specifically focused on Salesforce. So there are a few companies around that who do that in each country. Now, there's something else that Salesforce has. If you've got an iPhone, you'll be familiar with the App Store. The App Store was actually initially designed by Mark Benioff, and he was being mentored by Steve Jobs, who owned Apple and was visionary for Apple. And if you think about when you take your phone out and you install an app on your phone will come with just a certain set of apps just out of the box and certain functions. So it makes calls, it does text messages, you can add Facebook to it. When you install those apps, you go to an app store, you download the app onto your phone, and then you subscribe and start using it, right? Well, Salesforce actually has a similar thing. And when Mark Benioff decided that he was going to create a marketplace for the Salesforce platform, he was going to call it the App Store. And he decided to gift the name of that to Steve Jobs by way of a thank you for his mentorship. And so Steve Jobs actually created the iPhone App Store using Mark Benioff's name for it. And Mark Benioff created what's known as the App Exchange. Now, the App Exchange is a very cool place. And there are like 5,000 apps or something on it now. But effectively, you think about these as extensions for Salesforce. So let's say, for example, you don't want to spend 6 months building an accounting package for your Salesforce. You just want to bolt it in and get it up and running, and it works. Then you could download Accounting Seed. Let's say you work in a call center and you want to have all the phone calls going directly through Salesforce, so that when an agent answers the phone, it automatically records it and stores it in Salesforce without no one having to do anything. Then you can use Vonage. If you wanted to take information out of Salesforce and then make it look pretty in a report, a full document, then you could use DrawLoop.gem. And DrawLoop can query all the different areas of Salesforce, put the data into a document, and then you press a button and it just spits out a report on paper that you can then email to somebody, or a contract, for example. So all of these apps on the App Exchange are designed to be extensions to Salesforce. And there are companies out there who build these apps and they sell their own licenses to customers directly. And we call those ISVs. We call them integrated software vendors. And they sell apps on the App Exchange. Are there any questions so far? No?
No, I think we're all good.
I might have to re-watch this afterwards just to make sure I understood it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And apologies, I'm a little nervous, so I'll try and be...
No, I think you're being really clear. It's just a lot of info, so I might have to listen to it again to make sure it went in.
Sure, that's why we record, so don't worry a thing. Right, so that's the ISV, the App Exchange, and then the consulting partners, and then the customers. And you see, ultimately, we all end up looking after this one entity in the ecosystem. But then there's something else about Salesforce, which I think is the heart and soul of it. And to tell you about this, I'm going to go to Twitter. Now, Salesforce have done a fantastic job with their marketing. There is absolutely no denying it whatsoever. But what I told you, the video I showed you earlier about, the Ohana, the Salesforce spirit and community, that is much bigger than any kind of marketing. And like I said earlier, it's all about shared values. And on Twitter, there is a huge community of people who do Salesforce. It is what we do for a living. And these people are all over the world. I've got friends, so Missy, I believe, lives in New Zealand. She's American in New Zealand. There are people who, if you just go onto Twitter and type in Ask Force, you will find a whole load of tweets from people. That's not what I wanted. You will find a whole load of tweets from people who just want to help each other with Salesforce, and companies that publish helpful information. They will share their apps. They will ask questions. So like, for example, Prolay is saying that the Salesforce partner community is extremely slow. Is it something to do with me, or is something broken? But then you'll get beautiful stuff like this. Hello, how are you all doing today? And you just get all these people just chatting to each other and helping each other on a regular basis. And the way that they do that is, one, through Twitter, but secondly, they actually interact through the success community. Now, I'm going to get you guys to sign up for this very shortly. But this is an area where it's almost like a forum where people can connect with each other, ask questions, raise challenges, and just help each other out, really. And that community, Salesforce has done an amazing job of building that community, and they have recognized people for their contributions to that community. Now, you'll probably be looking at this thinking, this is a tech company. What's with all the furry animals and the forest animals everywhere? Well, and what's with the Trailblazer thing? It's all very cheesy and American, right? Trailblazers are people who really go out of their way to help other people succeed and celebrate their success. And as you can see on the community, there are different activities you can interact. There are different ways you can interact with the community. If you've got a question, you can ask a question, and then you can explore the answers. So this guy, Steve Molis, I will just show you this because this guy is hilarious. If you look at his profile, he calls himself Fixer of Shit at You Owe Me a Beer Inc. This is because the amount of times that he has helped people on the community when they've got stuck with stuff, that he's been recognized as a Salesforce MVP. And a Salesforce MVP, there are 200 of them in the world, roughly, and they're recognized for their exceptional contributions to the Salesforce ecosystem. But then if you look at the sort of stuff that Steve gives his time to do, he has answered over 80,000 questions on the success community. He has 7,000 best answers. He's only asked 30. And then he's contributed 38 different ideas. So if you don't like the way that Salesforce works on certain things, you can actually post an idea and ask their product team to actually make changes. And you can see that Salesforce actually interact with people who post these ideas. So for example, this feature was retired without a replacement. This left us kind of hung out to dry. And then you can have all these conversations with people around the world, and Salesforce will keep an eye on it. And if you agree that the idea needs to be implemented, you can upvote it. If you don't agree with it, you can downvote it, or you can post an idea of your own. And then if you want an idea of what Salesforce is actually going to deliver on based on what the community have asked for, then you can look at the winners table and look at some of the ideas that they are planning to deliver and when they're going to deliver it. So there's a hugely active community. We have a lot of fun, an awful lot of fun, and we get together at conferences. There are usually ways some of us stand up and do talks on stage. You can join user groups. You can go to volunteer-led conferences that's centered around Salesforce content. You know, it really is kind of a way of life. We joke that it's a bit of a cult, but I think it's actually, it's something that Salesforce has worked very hard to nurture and actually leaves to get on with itself in many ways. And then as an MVP, our job is to effectively represent Salesforce to the community, but represent the community to Salesforce, if that makes sense. And I left my water downstairs. Okay, so that's just a rough overview of the community and the Kool-Aid and everything else. So I will just draw a circle around this, because the community is not just about people working for Salesforce. Oh my God, that's terrible. Moved it back. The community is basically anybody and everybody who gets involved in the Salesforce community. It could be customers, partners, people who work for Salesforce, who use Salesforce. We're all in it together. Now, I mentioned Trailhead earlier. Trailhead is fundamental part of the community because Salesforce back in the day, when I first started in 2008, didn't have much in the way of learning and development resources. So you'd log into Salesforce and you pretty much had to get on with it, or you had to pay a partner for some training, or you could sit and watch some training videos and go through help articles and so on, as much as you wanted to. But it wasn't really that interactive, and the training was expensive. They also rolled out a certification program around the time that I first started working with Salesforce. You could achieve, I think, about 5 or 6 certifications, and now there are about 30 of them. And they're all certifications that can help you progress into a really good job in any area of the ecosystem, really. You could work for Salesforce, you could work for an App Exchange partner, you could work for a consulting partner, you could even work at a customer and be their system admin, look after their system full time and make it successful for them. One of the first projects I ever worked on was for Woburn, Woburn's weddings. Woburn Abbey being a very popular wedding and events venue in Bedfordshire. They also have a golf course and they have a safari park, and they needed a way to track their wedding inquiries. So we set them up with Salesforce just as a simple way to get them to capture leads from the internet. So if you were a bride or a groom and you wanted to get married, you could go to their website, fill out a little form and say, I want the brochure. Can you please send me a brochure? Your details would go into their Salesforce, and then they might phone you like a week later and say, you know, oh, how did you get on with the brochure? What did you think of it? Would you like to come and see us? And hopefully that might lead to a booking or an opportunity for a booking. And back in the day, we didn't have any real way to learn how to do Salesforce except by baptism of fire. Now in 2014, Salesforce put a lot of investment into Trailhead. Trailhead is an American term for national parks, for national park trails. And they took the concept of a journey and an exploration experience around the Salesforce platform, and they applied it to their training. They built a whole training and certification team and program around it, which is known as Trailhead. And Trailhead came with, because we had that forest theme, it comes with several characters. In terms of, you see on the page here, you've got a bear. He's Cody the bear. He represents developers. And then this is Astro, and Astro represents anybody who is on a learning journey. So you'll see in all the marketing materials, and as you go through the experience of working with Salesforce, you'll see some of these characters popping up, and they do represent different things, but their primary objective with the training was to make it fun. They didn't want people just sat around getting bored in classrooms and watching videos. They wanted to enable people to learn skills that are hugely in demand and that can actually enhance your CV and get you out there and connect you with other opportunities that really possibly people didn't think were possible before. I'm going to show you one more video, and this is about Zach. He is a friend of mine, and Zach has he's had a really moving experience with Salesforce. He's learned it completely from scratch, had never touched it before, had nothing to do with business or IT. I just want to take a moment to show you Zach's story.
I want a good life for my kids. And they say, Say money can't buy you happiness, but at a certain point it can buy you some time with your kids, and that's pretty darn close. My grandparents were survivors of the Great Depression, and it was always communicated to me to consider work a blessing. Lamar, Missouri. It's a great place to grow up. Low crime rate, good people, salt of the earth. I mean, just hardworking Midwesterners. Here's my little house I used to live in right there. 2542. A lot of the businesses in town closed down in the years since then. Started to kind of have the life drained out of it a little bit. Most of my family worked labor jobs. My dad's a factory worker for his whole career. And that was always what I thought I would do. I was homeschooled my entire way through school. I never went to public school a day of my life. My mom was my teacher. I basically dropped out at 16. I started my first job the day after my 16th birthday because we wanted to make a living. But I ended up in a manufacturing position, slicing deli meat, processing deli meat. The facility was in a man-made cave underground here in Missouri. But it was a job, and a lot of people were losing their jobs and losing their homes and losing everything else. I felt lucky to have a job at all. I felt lucky to be working.
It was really hard work. I mean, he dropped like 30 some odd pounds in a month or two.
I was donating my plasma. That was the only way for a lot of years that I could buy groceries. The thing that was the most sobering was probably having my son and realizing that I had to have more of a structured plan in place. At some point, I knew there had to be something I could learn to do to provide a better future. I have a cousin that comes from a similar background that I do, and he landed in a job as a developer for Salesforce. He said, well, you'd probably be okay to be an admin. A light bulb kind of came on, and this was all of a sudden something I could learn to do without a whole lot of risk. There were these online videos that were hands-on training and started to slowly kind of take shape. Once the pieces all clicked, then the bulb was on nice and bright. I had some really great advice to get connected with the local user groups. So I put on the only suit that I own, and I went to user group.
Zach is hard to miss. You're gonna not forget Zach coming into a room. What I noticed first was somebody, without even saying anything, said, I need a place, I need help, I need a resource.
Having that mentorship, it was very foreign, but very extraordinary at the same time. About 4 months later, a lady from my user group said, hey, my admin just put in his 2 weeks notice. You're certified, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm absolutely certified. And I had an interview, the biggest interview of my life. I was 30 years old and had never done a real job interview. Yes, I was scared to death. I told my current boss, I looked him square in the face and I said, you will not interview anyone else for this position that is nearly as excited about this as I am.
He probably didn't know it at the time, but he was an easy choice. The biggest impact is his passion for Salesforce and educating others. He's really built a name for himself.
An account page in Salesforce. It was remarkable. It was from the factory floor to dealing with some of the most advanced technology in the world. I made it. I did it. Turn the page. Turn the page.
You see, it doesn't just affect his work life, it affects his home life. You know, he works hard for us. I'm just really proud of him, you know, and always have been. Sorry.
My American dream is providing for my family and having enough time to spend with them. I found it. Blazing a trail means leaving a trail that can be followed. And now I need to turn around and build a highway behind me to pass it on, to pay it forward. When I see people in less than ideal situations, I want to tell people on the street, the jobs are out there, the security for your family can be had. Trailhead is the front door of the new economy to change your life. It's all free, it's all online, it's all accessible. You can start learning today the things that will get you a job tomorrow. I'm living proof that there's a place for anyone in the new economy. You just have to reach for it. I'm Zach Otero, and I'm a trailblazer.
Okay, hopefully you're all feeling massively inspired. So why don't we talk about Trailhead in a bit more detail. Trailhead's learning platform is based on interactions. You will not just be talked at. You will have stuff to read. You will have stuff to do. You'll be spinning up your own Salesforce instances and you will be on fire with it. I know you will. And I believe in every single one of you. I know that you're going to be able to do this. It'll be my pleasure to show you how. So to get to Trailhead, all you have to do is go to trailhead.salesforce.com and sign up. So if you could all do that for me just now, go to trailhead.salesforce.com and click the button that says sign up. I'm going to do this in an incognito window because I already have it. And then you will see that you can sign up in a number of different ways. So trailhead.salesforce.com. Hit sign up. Now you can sign up through several ways. If you have a Gmail account, you can sign up using Google and that will work. If you prefer to use LinkedIn, you can use LinkedIn. You can use email if you want to, or you can use Facebook. If you, let's say you click Facebook, what it will do is it will redirect you to Facebook and it will ask you to just log in, and then it will actually create you a Trailhead account. And from that point onwards, whenever you go to Trailhead, you can just click log in, and you can log in with Facebook. And that's what I do. Now, once you've logged in, so I'm just going to log in and sign up now. Actually, I think I'll fake it because I need to go through the same experience as you guys do. Bear with me a second. Okay. Sign up with Google. If you don't have a Google account, just create one. MZ test. Everybody okay?
Yep, so far so good.
Okay, thank you. Yep. You been able to log in yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I created mine just before we got onto this video.
Okay, that's good. Because I messed mine up royally, so I'll just log in. Okay, and once you've logged in, you'll see your name in the corner. Now, the way that this works is it's a bit like Amazon. You have tabs across the top. That's common in the actual Salesforce platform as well. In the next session, we'll make a start on looking at Salesforce. For today, I just want to start us off with the concepts. And then for each tab, if you hover over each one, something will pop up, okay? And then in the top right-hand corner, you have your profile page. So I want you all to go to your profile page, click on your face and then click profile. gosh, my laptop feels like it's going to take off. And you'll see, or you should see, a .me link here, okay? And this is where you can effectively create yourself a little nickname for your Trailhead profile. And forgive me, I'm having to kind of try this out. If you go to your settings, let me just see. Where do you do your Trailhead ID? My address? Nope. Hannah, what can you see on your screen? Sorry, it's been a long time since I've done this.
Sorry, I was just unmuting. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So what can I see on my own screen?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I caught up.
Don't worry, I did call on you.
I clicked settings and now I'm on privacy. Have I missed a section?
All right, I'm just going to do this quickly myself and I'll show you.
Do you want me to share my screen with you?
No, you'll be all right. Just a second. I'm just going to sign up and go through the experience with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, this is going to be fun, trying to fit.
Okay. Okay, so you just put in your so prepared. Yeah. Confirm. While I'm waiting for that to cook, I will come and log out of Trailhead. Please bear with me. Okay, so now I have a brand new Google account. So I'm going to go to trailhead.salesforce.com. I'm going to close down unnecessary windows, because my laptop doesn't seem to be coping. I will sign up. Now, if you're already logged into Salesforce, you hit login, sometimes it will kick off at you. And the thing to do with that to prevent it is to actually link up your Salesforce to it. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. And obviously pay attention to what you're clicking on the screen. Apologies. So Google. So now it will redirect me back to Google. I have an active session. And what an active session means is that I've already logged in and I'm logged into Google there. Right, so now it says tell a bit about yourself. So you add a profile photo. Just add anything you want. Me and my buddy Maritina. And then in your Trailblazer /ID, you can make up a nickname for yourself. And actually, this is a great thing to do because the next part of this challenge is to add yourselves to a leaderboard. And it's easier to do that if you've got a little nickname. So I'm just going to call this Test Gem. Make yours public. And then you just add in some information about your company name, job title. If you don't have a company name, that's absolutely fine. Just put your own name. Put your relationship to Salesforce is that you are a non-customer or a prospect, and make sure you pick the right country. Don't worry about states. As you can see, they gray it out if you're not in the US, so they don't worry about that. And then you accept the terms and conditions, and then you're done. So then the next time you want to log into Salesforce, you can just log in with the option that you have. Log into Trailhead with the option that you have. So hopefully now all of you have got this. So I will log back in. Now let me talk to you a little bit about, and you'll see that the trailblazer.me URL is the web address that you set in the previous step. So where it says add a nickname, you can see that it's added my nickname to the end of my link here. Then what I did is I went to my profile, and on my profile, I can add things like my LinkedIn, a link to my LinkedIn profile. I can add a link to my Twitter account. I can add a link to my website or my blog if I want to. And you'll notice that when you look at everybody's profiles will be different depending on what their experiences are. So because I'm a Salesforce MVP, I get the MVP badge. And because I've got some certifications, it shows the certifications. And that's something that we can talk about a little bit later. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that I've got 494 badges. Now, as you complete exercises in Trailhead, you can win badges for completing each exercise, and you can win points. So for example, let's say for example you're working through a quiz and you get the answer right the first time, you'll get 100 points. If you don't get it right the first time but you get it right the second time, you get 50 points. And if you don't get it right the second time but you get it right the third time, you get 25 points, and 25 points for each attempt thereafter. So those points kind of add up. And it's possible to see by proportion as well, like how much benefit you're getting from the platform, from the learning experience. Because if you've got a high number of badges but a low number of points, typically it doesn't necessarily mean that the information's going in as well. And obviously everybody has different learning styles. So there's a combination of quizzes, there are hands-on exercises you can do, there are videos to watch, and there are projects that you can complete as well. As you scroll down, you can see your connections in the community as well. So if you're logged into Trailhead and you want to get involved in some of the Salesforce community stuff, you can click this dice up the top here and click Trailblazer Community. And then you'll be invited to log in. So if you want to go and join the conversation in there and look at some of the resources that are available to you on the community, then that's easy to do. If you don't want to do that, you want to go back, you just hit back. It's all one unified profile now. It never used to be, but it is now, and it's much better. And then as you scroll down, you start to be able to see some of the things that you've completed. So like here are so obviously, if you complete badges that are to do with customer relationship management, it will tell you what percentage of all the badges that you've completed were directly related to that topic. And you can see these are examples of some of the badges that you can complete. And you can look at those and see, right, how many events or community badges, has Gemma got? So these are for attending. I got these for attending events. Usually it's because you go along and you connect to the Wi-Fi and you get a Trailhead badge, and then it automatically grants you one of these badges as well. So these are like, limited edition badges. If you complete projects, you get a badge for those. That one's my favorite badge because you can make sounds play. It's so cool. Massive nerd here. And then these are for modules that you've completed. And I recently did an exam on higher education configuration in Salesforce. So for example, being able to manage information about students at a university, I completed a badge to do with that. And then there's another concept which is called super badges, and super badges are a lot harder. Super badges are testing how you apply the knowledge that you have gained throughout the process of completing other Trailhead badges. And as you go down, you can see other information. If you want to add any more about your company or your company website, add your pronouns if that's important to you, then you can do that. And anywhere that you see a pencil means you can edit it in any way you want. So if you want to go and change your photo, if you want to add a short biography, add any more links, then and hook it up to your social accounts, then that's something you can do very easily. Now I'm going to start really quickly. I'm going to just hit on Trailhead. Has anybody got any questions, by the way?
All good, all good.
Okay, cool. So I've gone to Trailhead, and you get given this page. So across the top, you've got these options. Under the Learn menu, you've got the option to follow guided learning paths. And then you can also create almost like a mixtape of different modules that, that you might want to give out to people and that you can follow. There is a link to how you can get involved in Trailhead Academy, which is the classroom training. And then there's information about different career paths that are available to you. If you want to watch some videos, then you can watch videos. And the whole idea is you get to choose your own way of learning. And you can, if you want to complete kind of bite-sized units or projects, you can do that too. So what I've been doing is I have created a trail mix for this course. And that is designed to take us through bit by bit. And for each of our sessions over the coming weeks, we will work together on individual Trailhead modules. So this one looks like it says Gemma's coronavirus curse, but you know, we're getting there. This is a trail mix that I started working on, which we will go through starting. I think we will start platform basics on Wednesday, and user management. And then we'll work on a project together, literally together. So what you'll have to do is, as long as you've signed up for Trailhead, we will just go through these projects.
So Gemma?
Yeah, sure.
The only thing I found, complex with Trailhead Salesforce is that, well, because it's so vast, and there's all these modules and different tasks and whatnot, it was a bit hard to, to see like where I was going with it. And that's the only thing that really held me back, because I said it was just so vast that I was been trying to, see from different people, like, where, how do I go here or go there? Understand, there was no set clear path. Like, for example, if I wanted to do go for a particular how can I say let's say title or come out as a admin or the other one or the other things, like the path weren't clear. And I obviously respect the fact that it gives you the chance to be industrious with the way you pick what you want to learn. But as I'm saying, like, I just couldn't find any like fundamental to build on, and that's what really held me back. So I was just going here there, but I wasn't really seeing any like focus in what I was doing. So then it kind of held me back. So
yeah, no, I completely understand that. It is vast, it can be overwhelming. That's why I want to run this course, is to help everybody kind of, if we start with the basics and the foundations, I've started to curate some of this content together in a way that should be easier to follow, but I need you to keep telling me if you're not getting that value from it. So I will give you a link to this course, to this Trailhead mix, and we will go through the modules together each session. But before we start that, for this week, I'm going to set one piece of homework, and that piece of homework is around getting familiar with Trailhead itself, rather than we're not diving into Salesforce until Wednesday. The purpose of this week is to just get you familiar with Trailhead, and I will show you some of the ways that how you can find your way around. Does that help, Ezekiel?
Yeah, hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Miss.
No
Gemma, it's Gary. Just a quick one. I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to attend sort of multiple times a week. Is there a you've got sessions set up, I think, for sort of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Are you sort of repeating any, if you see what I mean, or are you expecting to sort of attend what we can and fill in by recordings on the others? Or?
If you think that 3 times a week is a bit intensive, we can put it down to 2. And that will help me too, because it helped me actually rest in the evenings. But as I say, these sessions are all going to be recorded because there's a huge interest in this session, and I've actually filtered it right down to people who are brand new to this. So you can, so it doesn't matter if you can't come to every single one. The videos will be posted onto YouTube for you to follow on. You know, all I would say is that if you, let's say it gets 3 weeks down the line and you're still on week 1, then I would think about whether you want to switch to 100% on 100% recorded learning or not. But you'll get the most value if you can attend, but nobody's going to.
Yeah, sure. You know, I would try to attend what I could, but it's just quite difficult to commit to 3 times a week. That was all. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure whether you were running them sort of weekly, but sort of doing a repeat on Wednesday and Friday. Do you see what I mean? But
what I can do is put a poll out, and if people think that if people think twice a week is sufficient, then we can do twice a week.
Sure.
And we'll see what everybody thinks.
Okay, thanks. Don't let me hold you up. Okay.
No, honestly, this is designed to go at your own pace, and some people will start working on Trailhead and, you know, discover they've got addictive personalities, and start working on it and just be unable to stop. So whereas others will need a bit more guidance and a bit more of a light shone down the path, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
And let me talk you quickly through the site as well, actually, while we're on the subject of that, because I have created, if I can bloody find it, I have created a Q&A sheet for you. So if you have any, if you're getting stuck in any way at all, you can come and ask a question. Where are we?
I did wonder if that was what I could hear.
Yeah, I don't blame him. This whole thing has been quite exasperating for all of us. So
absolutely.
Not the course you did.
I'm talking about the coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
You're doing well. You're doing well. Not you, the coronavirus. So I'm saying the coronavirus has been exasperating everyone.
It's been nice to spend a concentrated hour talking about something other than that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Come on, wake up.
Hey, Gemma, I just attached on the group chat, I just put the hyperlink in there so people can reach that.
You are amazing. Thank you. Let me see if I can find it. Thank you. So if you go to the chat, oh yeah, that's the trail mix. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Right.
While there is a lull in the conversation, if I may ask a question.
Certainly.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for doing this. I just very recently was informed of this resource that you are so kindly putting together. So kudos to you. Wonderful thing. My question is, you alluded to earlier at the start of this that you're mainly going to be covering Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. Is that am I correct in understanding that?
As a starting point, and then because there are, once you've learned the basics, there are multiple branches that you can.
Sure. And understanding from your own personal background the path that you've kind of taken and kind of evolved over time. You know, many people go the administrator path, maybe go the marketing path, maybe developer path. Your focus is on introducing everybody at a very introductory level to Salesforce. And is there a path or curriculum that you're going to be taking that we could see?
I have started putting a plan together with several volunteers, and what we are planning to do is focus on the declarative pointing. So the whole point of Salesforce is that it can be configured through point and click. So you don't have to learn to write code. But if some of you would like to learn to write code, then I can actually set you up with my colleagues who've set up an Apex, they've set up a thing called Apex Hours. And there's a gentleman that I know well as well called David Liu. He has a developer course available as well. And if you are a lady and you would like to learn to code, there is a specific program available for women who would like to learn to code as well. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, I can point you down the path for that. This is primarily focused on the point and click. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And I suspect that majority of the people here would most likely be more interested on the declarative side of things anyways.
I would imagine so, but we can give that flexibility, absolutely.
Thank you, Ida.
You're most welcome. So if you are stuck and you have a question that you want to ask, just come to the site. And if you haven't got the site, then we'll send you it. And you'll see, oh look, 2 people have started already. And the nice thing is that somebody else has actually answered that question. So if you do have a question you want to ask, just pop, or you're really stuck on something, just pop it in there. And there's myself and about 15 other volunteers who will be monitoring this sheet. So if you get stuck on anything, we will answer your question for you.
So would you be able to share this site in the email, or how do we access this?
Certainly. I will post the link in the chat, and then I will email out the resources afterwards as well.
Thanks.
On this site, you will find links to resources. You will also find the course materials. Sorry, you will find the homework. Start again.
So where's this, please?
I will send you the link.
Okay, thank you.
Just a simple Google site, and it's only because my computer's being a bit slow at the moment, but all of the resources that I'm using are delivered by Trailhead. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel, but also I want to get you guys comfortable with Trailhead and how it works, and I want to be in a position to help you with it. Now, week 1, basically what I've done here is started you off with a trail mix, which I have found for you. And your homework is to complete this Getting Started with Trailhead mix. So I'll open up that link just now. And all this is just navigation stuff more than anything else. And in order for us to kind of gamify this a little bit and have a bit of fun while we do it together, as you complete, basically as you go through this trail mix, you will see there are a combination of different links and modules that you can complete. Can you please stop mucking around, computer? And if we look at, for example, this one, Get Started with Trailhead, there are some badges in here that you can complete. So this one talks to you about Trailhead basics. So how do we get started? Then you click that. And then this is an example of of the sort of thing that you'll experience. So you might see Leah's giving a talk about what Trailhead is. There's some bits to read. It says how it works, who it's for. As you can see, when we create content, we use a set of guiding principles that include storytelling, casual voice and tone, positivity, fun, fun, fun. And you keep going. And then when you get to the bottom, you will be given, so it'll talk to you about Trailhead Playgrounds. These are little instances of Salesforce that you can spin up just to do your tasks with. And then when you get to the bottom, you'll be given a challenge. So for example, in this one, you might create a database table that's called a custom object, and it will give you specific instructions. This is what you got to call it. In the module, it will tell you how to do it. And then in the test at the end, it will say, this is what you've got to call it. This is the format it's got to be. And then you basically launch your own instance of Salesforce, and then you can click a green button called Check Challenge. Now those hands-on exercises, if you get stuck on them, just come and ask in the Q&A and we will help you. And if we have to jump on a call with you and share screens and do it, we will do it. None of us, it's not like we've got loads of meetings going on at the moment. So happy to do that. And as you complete, as you can see, I completed this one. It's given me 100 points for completing it. So then you click next and it takes you to the next bit. And when you get to the end of this challenge, you get given a badge. So when Trailhead Basics is complete, I get a badge that says Trailhead Basics. And then it gives you the option to share it on social. And I highly encourage you to all sign up with Twitter accounts and share it so that we can retweet it and celebrate it out to the rest of the community, because you will find that there's lots of people out there that are willing to help. And if you are stuck on something and you can't get hold of one of us, or you're worried that your question hasn't been answered and it's holding you up, then Twitter's a really great place to go and ask more questions. So that homework is I've provided the link to that. There's something else I would like you to do. When you've all signed up with Trailhead, please could you go to your profile and click on your profile here. And just, you see here where you've got this link where it says .me and it says trailblazer.me/ID/Gemma. Just click this little button here because that means copy. That copies it to your clipboard. And just, if you could please just send me that, send me that link. You just come back to the website and click to send Gemma your link. And all you do is just paste it in here, tell me your name and hit submit. And that means I can add you to our leaderboard. And the leaderboards are a lot of fun. We can look at the modules that you've completed, we can support you with them, and if you want to get a little competition going, it means we can create little events and have competitions for that particular thing. Okay, is everyone's brains hurting?
Hey Gemma, can you just show me one more time where I'd send that copy to?
Yeah, sure. So you come to the website here, to the site, the Google site, and click homework.
Should be able to paste that site on the chat.
Yeah, I can do that now. Okay, that's in the chat for you. You go to homework and you go to your profile and click this. There's a link here that says click to send Gemma your Trailhead user ID. So you click that, a Google form will appear in here, and there will be some instructions on what to do next. And you just paste your URL. This is Gemma.
I'm not seeing this link. Sorry if I'm being an idiot.
No, it's all right. So
And neither do I see it.
Which link in the chat?
To this website that you want us to fill in. Somehow I haven't got that up anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not there in the message board.
Yeah, it's not pasted.
Right, okay, let me sort it.
You might have sent it to a specific person instead of everyone.
Oh, I did. I've been sending it all to Barbara. Sorry, Barbara.
Yeah, you sent it to me and I just did it. I didn't know that it was only me. I thought you did the same to everyone.
Barbara's like, I don't know what's wrong with you all. I'm fine. Yeah, so if you click that link, that'll take you to the homework page. And then you'll see, click to send Gemma your Trailhead user ID. And if you send me that, I will add you to the coronavirus course. Really should change the name of that. And then if you want to come and check out the leaderboard, then you are most welcome to. I'm going to see if anyone's put it in. And I think that this computer really is going to fly out the window in a minute. Okay, so this trail mix, let's in fact, let's everybody do this now. Let's do it now. So if you go to your profile in Trailhead, take a copy of your URL and go to the link that I've linked to you, and then paste it. Give me your name. And I will open up everyone doing all right?
Yeah. Yes.
I've got 31 responses already. That's amazing. Okay. Thank you. So I'm gonna go and just show you what I'm gonna do with it. I am gonna, so this is a platform that my friend Johan built completely from scratch and it was designed for his team so that when they were working on Trailhead together, they could track and create their own competitions. And he ended up just creating it free of charge and giving it to people. And it just, and there's loads of people around the world that use it. It's fantastic. And it just means that I'm able to, we're all able to actually, to see how people are doing. So there's Sumanshri, for example, in the leaderboard. Where's she gone? I'm selling it really well now. So Jay Brickell, I'll put that one in. The Trailblazer. Maybe I've got too much open. Add. Now what you'll find on Trailhead is there's stuff on there that you can do that is specifically to do with Salesforce as a technology platform, but then you'll find there's some other badges on there that are really quite different. Salesforce has a very strong ethic around equality. So you will see there are a number of different badges available on Trailhead that are not focused on technology per se. They are focused on things like treating people fairly, regardless of background, and why it's important to have that kind of culture in a business, in any kind of business. And it just kind of opens your mind up a little bit. There's some other ones that you can look at around well-being at work. There's even one that's called the value of sleep. And they've spent a lot of time and effort into making sure that they've got research to back up a lot of the content for this training. So it's not just around building great software. There's a lot of stuff about the gift of feedback, like how to communicate effectively, how to give feedback, how to stand up for somebody, you know, in times of where you spot inequality, and so on. So there's all kinds of different things that you can learn on Trailhead, and that's one of the things that I find just makes it so inspiring for me, because there are often behaviors that are encouraged that you may have forgotten about, and they just kind of help to bring some of those things to life. So for example, I'm going to do this this one very quickly now so you can see what it looks like to get a badge. So they'll have videos in there about connecting with Salesforce's culture, and and the 4 values of Salesforce around trust, equality, innovation, and customer success. And then it talks about like how and why they make sure that they are encouraging trust, customer success, innovation, and equality. And then and you can look at all the different groups that they have within their business. So they have Boldforce, which is an equality group for Black employees and Black partners. There is an LGBTQ. There is a women's network. There is Vet Force, or what used to be Vet Force, which is for ex-military. So if any of you are ex-military, you can take part in that program, and so can any of your family members as well. There's an Africa focused group as well. And there's Faith Force as well. So for people who practice religions, various different religions are supported through Faith Force. And then there is like a typical quiz. So a career at Salesforce more than a job. Working at Salesforce means you get to improve the world. Core values can concretely shape the experience of your employees with the 4 values. And then you kind of hit the button and it will say, oh yeah, you've passed that one. Let's do the next one. And then you can complete that next one. Now don't do what I do and just scroll to the bottom. I'm just doing it because I'm showing you. But we focus solely on personality trait. It's a good idea to watch a few videos. Yeah, and you'll find some interesting options to choose from as well. So for example, go in blindly to avoid stressing herself out. I found a Game of Thrones answer the other day. It was hilarious. So that one is quite obviously A and C. And now I've got a shiny new badge. So you see all the confetti comes down. And if you want to share it, put it on Twitter. Just hit the badge on Twitter. It will create a tweet for you. If you have some thoughts around that badge and what it meant to you, or if you liked it, so you can kind of put, I like this one, and then tweet. And I will follow you and share it with the rest of the community to show your progression. And you can hit more badges. So yeah, it can get a bit addictive. I know that my colleague Natasha, she's on the call at the moment. I know she's had loads of fun with Trailhead lately, and it just can keep you busy. And there's loads of different things that you can learn, some techie and some non-techie. So I will add you to this. And after this call, I will send out a link to the site again, just in case you didn't get it through the chat. If you could please complete, you've got basically a week, so until next Monday, if you can complete this Getting Started with Trailhead Trail Mix, you can get to it through this link here, or through just by clicking on the Trailhead sign. That will take you straight there, and just work your way through the modules. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do. I would love to talk to you. You can find me on Twitter as @GemsyBeth. Now come and join the conversation. So does anybody have any more questions?
Now?
I'll probably have them as I start getting into it, so we'll see.
Well, Gemma, I do, but I don't want to occupy the time. It's a little bit more of a personal question. If you don't mind, I've requested a connection on LinkedIn, and there I'll pose my question to you if that's okay. Absolutely, you're most welcome to. I think we'll leave it for tonight then, because I think I've given you an awful lot to think about already. I'll send out the resources, and I'll send out a very brief poll to see what people think about meeting twice a week or 3 times a week. And then I will post this video onto our YouTube channel and update the site as soon as we get off the call. I hope you really enjoy yourselves. If you have any questions, please please post them into the Q&A, because that means that all the volunteers can go in and can answer you as well. And thank you very much for giving up your time and your evening or daytime to come and join us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Gemma.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Thank you,
Thanks a
Gemma.
lot.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gemma.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Never know how to end these things properly.
Thank you, Gemma. Thanks a lot.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
I'm loving how many people from different countries are in this group.
It is amazing. I'll share.
Hello, Gemma. Are you going to send the video straight away, or like?